at the Bob Bondurant School of High Performance Driving in Chandler, Arizona to find out what happens when you give 6 hot rodders with 0 road course experience brand new Corvettes.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Bondurant School. My name is Mike McGovern. I'm the chief instructor, and I'd just like to start off by saying welcome and thank you for coming.
For me, going into Bondurant, I really was hoping to get some seat time and some instruction from somebody that knew what the hell they were doing, because so far in my career, my only feedback on how to race a car has been through the video games I've played.
Always do all of your hard braking in a straight line, okay? But then we'll also teach you a technique of what's called trailing brake, where we use the brake to help point the front end of the vehicle.
So the classroom was frustrating almost, because the whole time you're just sitting there like the kid looking at the clock waiting for the bell to ring at the end of school. You know you have a brand new badass Corvette sitting outside with the keys in it and your name on it. But it was really, really useful. They sat down and they repeated stuff to us, and they just kind of beat us over the head with these techniques.
We're gonna go for a tour, we're gonna do a van ride, then we're gonna hook you up with some people and you do some driving.
The first actual in-car exercise that we did was slalom, and it requires a lot more steering input than you think. I mean, you really turn the wheel and you turn it quickly, and it's fun. It was a good exercise in looking as far ahead as possible while you're driving.
So right now we are running back and forth up the track doing heel toe. And it's not actually heel toe, it's more like toe inside of your foot. So braking, downshift, just barely revving it up with the side of my foot, then letting out of the clutch. So you want to be able to get RPMs up to make the engine speed match the rear wheel speed when you go to downshift. If you downshift and don't do this, the engine speed low, you let out of the clutch and it'll want to lock up the rear tires, and it's very abrupt. And when you're already at the max amount of traction that the car is going to give you going into a corner, the last thing you want to do is do something abrupt. So this allows for a smooth downshift and smooth slowing for a corner.
I'm a big proponent of manual transmissions. So the fact that we were driving a Grand Sport Corvette with a 6-speed in it was just heaven for me.
These are race cars with license plates on them. The team in Bondurant did very little. They put some exhaust on them and then some safety things like a roll bar and a 4-point harness. But that's about it. And these are basically stock Corvettes, but they were still really fast.
Next up was the traffic avoidance drill.
The idea is you have 3 lanes. All of a sudden something bad happens in one of the lanes. You have to quickly change lanes and brake at the same time. The accidents avoidance seemed like a silly thing at first, but the more we did it, and the several times I screwed it up, I realized it was not as easy as I thought.
We are doing obstacle avoidance. I'm gonna wind it up to 30 miles an hour, and then they're gonna change the light signals up there to tell me which lane to go into. And basically, I'm supposed to lift, change lanes, and then squeeze back on the throttle. Oh, we're the wrong way. I think I just killed us. The drag racer in me was anticipating which lane I was going to go to, so mentally I'd already committed, I'm going right.
Don't anticipate what the lights are going to do, just react to what you see.
So day one's over with. We got to learn heel toe shifting, which I was getting better at, but I was really fired up for the next day to see how well these Corvettes worked on a road course and how well I could keep one on the track.
Bondurant is a legend. He won in the era of racing that I just love. He helped race with Shelby, beating out the Ferraris with the GT40. He got into a really bad accident at Watkins Glen. The doctors told him he wasn't going to walk again, and he said, you know what, I got to do something else. So he decided to open up a school in 1968, and today it's a great facility. He hand laid out the track out in the middle of the desert.
Bob actually is involved with the school. He comes there every day, he checks on the instructors, he checks on the students, and he came over to talk to us. Getting to talk to somebody like that and have them watch you run in a car, you know, doesn't happen every day.
The beginning of day 2, we started out on an oval course that's specially designed. It's not like a traditional oval course like a NASCAR or something where every corner is kind of the same. The 2 ends of the track are drastically different. The first one has a very gradual turn with a late apex, and the second one had a very early, very sharp apex, and then you wanted to accelerate smoothly out of the corner. So it keeps you on your toes. The instructors laid down cones and told us where the driving line was, and it wasn't necessarily your natural instinct. They wanted you to stay way on the outside before entering the corner.
I really want to cut that corner. I'm way too anxious about the corner I'm getting ready to enter into. So I end up jumping in too early. These cones force you to stay out. Then turn in when you need to. This is why we're at an instructing school. It's because as I'm talking, acting like I know what the hell I'm doing, I slide the car sideways.
The skid car looks like some sort of weird transformer toy. It's a Cadillac with extra wheels, sort of casters, outriggers on the side. And the instructor has a control panel inside that can allow him to use those wheels to lift the wheels of the car off the ground, front, rear, both rear, all four. And that can simulate different driving experiences, like when a car's pushing oversteer and understeer if you're driving on ice. That gives you a chance to practice correcting a skid, basically.
Look where you want to end up. That's the key part of this. So when it starts to slide, keep your eyes focused on where you think you should end up, and then everything else will be so much more second nature almost. It'll be kind of it'll just react.
So are you messing with it right now?
A little bit.
So should I be doing something different?
You're just fine. You're coming out of the gas pedal like you should. I'm giving you the easiest of the 2 skids, but then when I transfer into something like this, then you're a little bit busier.
I really like the skid car. Everything else was pretty intimidating. I haven't had a lot of experience in new cars. I never trusted the brakes. It was my first time ever driving anything with ABS. But skid cars, that's something I know about because when it comes to making smoke and correcting a skid, I know how to do that. Want it on record that that was not my fault.
There she really had no chance to do anything because the whole car was off the ground.
So we finally got to the road course, and it's not a very big course. You can't run about 3 cars wide on it, but it's very, very technical. Bondurant specifically designed this course to train, and he did a really good job of it. Every single corner was drastically different than the corner before it, and it was a lot of fun.
Everything we've done this far has built up to us driving these cars on the road course.
Oh, wow, that makes so much more sense now.
So I had a revelation on the track where I discovered what trail braking is. They had told us what trail braking was, but I didn't really have faith in it or completely understand it until I did it for the first time. I discovered trail braking coming out about the 3rd turn. Nice swooping turn.
There we go, there we go, there we go. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
I was on the brakes a little bit and the car went exactly where I wanted it to go. The idea of trail braking is to brake hard enough that you're putting more weight onto the front tires. There's a fine line there, and trail braking gets you to that max.
To be honest, I never wanted to leave the track. I had so much fun driving on it, and every lap I'd find something I did wrong, and I'd hurry up and go around the track to get to that same section and try to improve upon what I did the lap before. The 30 or 40 minutes we had, I did not waste. So up until now, all of my coworkers and I, we're all in the same boat. We're learning the same skills, and nothing is really graded. There's no time. We don't know who was the fastest around the road course. So right before we left, the instructor set up an autocross and gave us each one warm-up lap to figure out the course, and then one lap around it to see who's the fastest driver.
Before coming to Bondurant, I thought Mike would be my main competition, and then I saw Tom driving, and Tom really surprised me. Tom was pretty good. When I watched Mike on the autocross, I was really nervous because the car looked nice and balanced, but I think he was just going slow.
I really assumed Jesse would be the fastest guy because he's from North Carolina, and all of those guys at North Carolina that I've ever met are into NASCAR, they're into dirt tracking, so I figured he's the guy to beat.
Julia had the 7th quickest time.
Yeah.
7th quickest.
Alina, 6th quickest time.
How political.
Tom was the 5th quickest time. Brandon, Mike,
Nice, Jesse.
Nice work.
Jesse!
You get to drive us home because you're the best driver. Yeah!
I don't care. I'm excited about that. Whew. So Steve McQueen has a quote about life is just waiting when you're going to race again, and that's exactly how I felt when we got back here to the offices. I jumped into my Ford Escape and drove home. I'm just waiting to get behind the wheel of a race car again. This was by far the coolest thing I've ever done working for Hot Rod. It gives me so much more knowledge. I wish I would have done this before the introduction of the new Viper. I got to go to it. We raced on Sonoma Raceway, and I really wished I would have had this knowledge beforehand, but I'll be ready next time.